discussing, in my own, I guess, personal opinion, who I think are the top teams to make the most biggest surprise in their playoff runs. So, I'm expecting this video to not be super long because obviously there are some of the top tier teams in the NBA or are the favored teams to win the title, but I will be discussing some teams that may be flying under the radar that could make, a very aspiring run, sort of like how Miami did last year. I think it could be kind of fun to do. But also, if you guys didn't see my last video, I don't know if it was posted yesterday or even the day before, it was a channel update and giveaway announcement video. Yes, if you didn't see that video, I highly suggest you check it out. It is very important, at least for me, for you to go check out. So at least for me, please check out my last video. And yes, there is going to be a 7.5k sub giveaway. I announced it in the other video. So again, if you want to be part of that giveaway, make sure you obviously, subscribe to the channel. So that's the first thing you gotta do. And also, if you would please like this video, it would make me very, 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 very happy as well. Yeah, but I think that's it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video, and let's get started. Okay, guys, so right now I'm taking a look at the NBA playoff standings as of right now. I'm assuming the 1 through 10 seeds in both conferences are pretty set in stone. At least in my opinion, Chicago is the 11th seed for the East, and they are about 3 games out with about 4 games left in the season. I don't think they're going to be able to catch up to them. And then the 11th seeded Pelicans for the Western Conference is again about 3.5 games back from the Spurs, which I don't think, again, they're going to be making that spot. So 1 through 10 are both pretty much set in stone in both conferences. So taking a look at the playoffs right now, I'm not looking at where these teams are seated. I'm not looking at matchups. I don't care. I will also be doing a play-in tournament video, and also going to be doing a NBA playoff video. Those are going to be 2 separate videos. So no, I'm not looking at, guessing where these teams are going to be playing and how they're playing against this team or that team. Doesn't matter. It's just teams individually that I think that can make a big impact or a big splash in this year's playoffs. So going to the Eastern Conference first, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets, Milwaukee Bucks, Atlanta Hawks, Miami Heat, New York Knicks, Boston Celtics, Charlotte Hornets, Indiana Pacers, and the Washington Wizards as your 1 through 10 seed. Then, for the Western Conference, you have the Utah Jazz, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Clippers, the Denver Nuggets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Dallas Mavericks, Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors, Memphis Grizzlies, and the San Antonio Spurs, the 1 through 10 seeds. So, if we are looking through these teams, there are some of the top seeded teams that we are not really going to be talking about a whole lot in this video. I think the East is very heavy set this year. I think obviously one of the favorites are the 1 seeded Philadelphia 76ers. They are not going to be a surprising team. still a title contending team. Now, I'm not saying they're my pick. I'm not saying they're going to win. I just still think if LeBron and AD are in the game and their team is around them, they will have a shot. So, they're still, in my opinion, not sort of an under the radar team. I think they're still obviously going to have a great, sort of chance. And honestly, to think of another team, obviously the 1 and 2 seed in the West this year are the Utah Jazz and Phoenix Suns, two teams we definitely didn't think would make it this far in the year. I think I am going to have to say, man, I think Phoenix. I think either one of those guys can be a top 3. It just really depends on, their supporting cast. I think Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, those guys are going to bring it really good in the playoffs, but will the supporting cast of either one of those teams make it? Who knows? So now let's finally get to the topic of this video. Surprising NBA squads that I think can make a big impact and a big splash. In my honest opinion, I think that the Miami Heat, yes, the Miami Heat are still, even including last year, a sleeper team to make it to maybe not the finals again, but at least make a big sort of impact on the playoffs this year. The Miami Heat are 38 and 31 this year, and I was gonna have some very impressive wins over the years, beating some of the top teams in the NBA. Now, this is one of the teams that have had a lot of injury, health, and safety protocols throughout the entire year, so they haven't really played sort of to their full strength for a lot of the year. But a team that has still Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and, yada yada yada, the list goes on, of guys who were in the finals last year, who had that amazing playoff run, are still around. They did add some talent like Precious Achiuwa, who was a rookie this year. They have Iguodala. Hopefully Kendrick Nunn can play a little bit better than he did last playoff run. And obviously, the newest addition of Victor Oladipo on that team. They definitely have enough pieces that can sort of help them make another big splash like they did last year. Now, again, I'm not looking at, who are they facing, this and that. This is just, if they make it in the playoffs, which they are, can they beat sort of any team in their conference on any given night? And in my opinion, absolutely. So Miami is definitely one of the teams that I can see making another big splash. Let's see, I think another team, quite honestly, let's take a look at the playoffs again. Let's go with this team. Over to the Western Conference now. This team, in my opinion, could have been, a top contender team for the Western Conference sort of championship crown, if you will. But obviously the injury to Jamal Murray has very much hindered their team to being sort of one of the top tiered guys. But a team still winning 45 in 24 games, a 65% winning percentage this year, even with one of their second guy, Jamal Murray, being out, having probably the MVP of their team, of the league, on their team. I think you gotta give it up to the Denver Nuggets. I think the Denver Nuggets, even right now without Jamal Murray, still have a very good case on, again, making a big splash, maybe even another Western Conference title run. Who knows? Again, the big sort of staple in their argument is the play of Nikola Jokic. Again, being probably the MVP of the league this year, averaging 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. That is super crazy. Pretty much doing it all on his own. I think he played, as of right now, every single game of the year, which is very good for how stupidly dumb this year has been with injuries and things like that. I think he is definitely the biggest argument for them being a big-time contender. But also the trade for Aaron Gordon. Although on the stat sheet, only averaging 13 points, about 6 rebounds, not so much, but I think the effort he gives on both also have some pretty good pieces still on their team, like Will Barton. Let's see who else. Jermichael Green's a good veteran player. JaVale McGee, Paul Millsap, Monte Morris. They still have some good guys on their team, and then the resigning of Austin Rivers. These are guys that can really just be solid role players around the maestro of Nikola Jokic. I think this team does have potential to maybe upset, a Lakers team slacking, or a Utah Jazz team that maybe not be in that sort of spotlight scenario yet. I think they could make a very good case on being, still a very impactful playoff team. That's for sure. And with another team I'm going to be talking about again, these are not teams that, are my sleeper picks to win the title. I'm not saying that. These are teams that can really give teams a run for their money. And this is kind of crazy to think about, but I do think that potentially the New York Knicks have the potential, if they do continue to play their defense like they did the entire year this year, could maybe ruffle the feathers of a lot of the top tier contending teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, obviously, the Knicks just lost to a LeBron-less Lakers team, but they did beat the LA Clippers, I think a couple nights before that. So, they do take some weird losses, but they do get some big wins as well. They are a team that, again, if they are playing well enough, they can make a big impact. As of right now, they are sort of ranked up to go against the Atlanta Hawks, which would be such a fun first series matchup to watch. But even if they didn't end up going up against them, I think any team in the NBA, they would be a very formidable foe, because again, their defense is actually not too bad. Obviously, it comes down to the potential All-NBA player of Julius Randle. Then you have players who are stepping up this year, like RJ Barrett, what's his name, Emmanuel Quickly as well, having a very good year. Hopefully they can somehow get Mitchell Robinson back. I don't think he's out for the year, if I can remember. If he can come back by playoff time, that'd be absolutely amazing. Get another very good paint defender, and then, quite honestly, potential Sixth Man of the Year award winner in Derrick Rose, who is averaging like 25 points in the past couple games. He's been balling for that team. If those guys can continue to contribute, and then you have guys like Obi Toppin, Nerlens Noel, Reggie Bullock, who's been a sniper for that team from the three-point range, and obviously RJ Barrett sort of coming into that role and being that sort of young star we all want him to be, continuing the hard defense by Tom Thibodeau. This team can really, say they do go up against a Bucks team or a Philadelphia team. I think they could really give them a run for their money, maybe a 6 or 7 game series. That's them playing perfectly fine. No, I'm not saying they will, or they're going to win it out of the East. I'm not saying that, but do not sleep on this team, because I think they could surprise a couple game upsets, and then you're in some big, deep waters, in my opinion. Another team I'll pick up right now, and this is also sort of like a New York Knicks type of team, where if everything plays perfectly, they could definitely be a very competitive team, and that is the Portland Trailblazers. I know I'm not some sort of freak fan of Portland. I am a very harsh, realistic, sometimes even a pessimistic type of fan of Portland, and I do think they definitely do not have enough to win a title this year, but I do think if matchups are favored and health is there, Portland can definitely ruffle some feathers in the playoffs. Portland, as of right now, winning 40 games and losing 29, on a 4-game winning streak right now, going up against Utah, Phoenix, and Denver in their last 3 games. So, I'm talking about Portland right now like they're in the playoff race, but they could be in a play-in game scenario or in the playoffs in the next 3 games, which is totally crazy to think about. But Portland, obviously having Damian Lillard on their team, who, had a case for MVP, but sort of slumped out of it after having a very bad sort of couple game skits. I think Portland lost like 8 out of 10 games over a couple weeks span. It was pretty bad, not gonna lie, but I think he's definitely started to find his own again, starting averaging those crazy 30-point gains, which really Damian crazy year. I think Norman Powell has also been out with injury very recently as well. So if Portland can be healthy and the matchup is there, I think Portland has a chance against that. So again, if Portland with matchups, I think could get the job done and maybe get some couple wins here and there. Do I like their chances? Yes. Do I think they can upset teams? Yes. So that's why I'm picking them at being a sleeper team too. Hey, maybe Portland could definitely have another one of those Western Conference Finals run and see what happens. I think that'd be really cool to see, at least in my opinion. Okay, and I think lastly, one of the sleeper teams. You know what? I think I just have to talk about this team. Or actually, I'll do two more, and they're both in the West. Sorry, East, but there are a lot of young, up-and-coming teams that I just don't think are ready. That, like, I know Atlanta is in a very good spot right now. I think they are the 4th or 5th seed right now, which is really good for Atlanta. But, you know, do they have enough to win a title? Or not a title, but do they have enough to even upset any team? I truly don't think so. At least that's just my own opinion. But I'm going to go with a play-in team, and that is the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors only winning 37 games this year as of right now. You know, could potentially still make a playoff spot, and I think they will. Right now, they are scheduled to play against the Lakers, so if they do play the Lakers, they will probably lose. If they do, that's fine. If they don't, I think no matter what, they will be in the playoffs. I think a 7th or 8th seed, at least in my opinion. But as long as you have Steph Curry, and Steph Curry for those couple of games plays absolutely lights out basketball. Like, I'm talking like 30 to 40 point game. Steph Curry, 2016 unanimous MVP type of play style. And then you have players like Wiggins and Kent Bazemore with his defense. Draymond Green sort of turned back the clock, and again, sort of like Steph sort of plays together very well, and their guys sort of come together more. I don't see how this team couldn't upset a 7th or an 8th seed. I truly think so, especially if the 7th or 8th seed, I mean the 1 or 2 seed right now, are teams that may not be ready for that sort of pressure and spotlight of being, you know, the top team of the Western Conference. The Warriors have nothing to lose. They're gonna go out there like savages and play like crazy. So if you can't match that hustle and energy from a championship pedigree team, you might get caught in the dust. So I think the Golden State Warriors, as long as, again, everything plays right and Steph Curry has to literally average, I'm not kidding, like 35 to 40 something points per game, I think they have a shot. I think they could really do it. And another team, or probably the last team, I should say, I really like Memphis. I think Memphis could really sneak in, maybe beat the Warriors for that 7th or 8th seed, but we'll have to see how well they're playing. Their defense is immaculate, so they could shut down Steph Curry. They definitely have a shot, but I'm gonna go with, where are they? The Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks right now have won 40 games, losing 29 as of right now. They obviously have had a big, you know, dry spell at the beginning of the year, really struggling a lot with health and things like that. Then really picking it up, finding their own, and then now I think right now they're in the 6th seed. Could potentially be in the 5th seed. Could potentially be in a play-in scenario. Who knows? But man, if the play of Luka Doncic continuously averaging nearly a triple-double, and then you get a healthy, if they do get a healthy Kristaps Porzingis back in the squad, I think that team definitely has potential to upset some teams. Now, last year in the playoffs, has actually been improved from last year. I think he didn't even play last year. Dwight Powell coming back from injury from last year. Then they have a absolute sniper veteran in JJ Redick, Josh Richardson with his perimeter defense. They got a roster. They got a squad. They have a shot. Do I think they can win a title? Probably not. Could they make the Western Conference Finals though? I think yes they could. Again, for them it's mostly just health. Portland is health. Dallas is health. For a lot of teams like that, the Lakers, it's health. For the Nets, it's health. Health is going to be the biggest sort of thing. That is going to be the most important for those last playoffs run. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, make sure you check out yesterday or the day before's video. I will very much appreciate it. There's a lot of juicy info you need to know when it comes to, a lot of different things that I want to update you on about my channel. Make sure to subscribe